This is a video on the TEL Model 3 air pistol. Um, this is kind of probably the holy grail. If you're into pre-war blue milled pistols, this is probably the holy grail of collecting. And it's been kind of, I've been collecting for about 4 years, and it was fun to finally get one, especially as nice as this one is. Back in the pre-war times, really what they were looking, pre-World War II, they were just trying to create a pistol that looked like a firearm, actually made with almost firearm quality, but would be able to shoot a pellet for target shooting. In probably 1928, Haenel came out with their air pistol that certainly was modeled after the Luger, as you can see. Only all blue milled steel as well, but you know, back here kind of started looking more like an air pistol. This is Wilhelm Foss, who patented this one. His company, TEL, this was what he had during the 20s, 30s, and it went into the 40s, but he had this little guy in competition with at 28. So he came up with, in 1937, the TEL 3. And he obviously was trying to, I think, do one better than Haenel. And this one came in a box, which is very cool. Has the instructions in 3 different languages, and emblem, company corporate emblem, and then the pistol in gold. Very cool. And had the brush and TEL pellets, which was fun for me as a collector to have as well. If we take the pistol out, you can see this is so Luger-like and so much looking like a firearm of the day, and all blue milled steel. Just in the weight, it's just like a firearm. You're holding a firearm, which is obvious, which is so cool. You know, how many, as a collector, how many of these were made? You know, that's always the question. The serial number is back here. If you take this off, this one's in the 100s. But you know, if you look in books, they say only 50 were made or whatever, and that's just not true. Serial numbers probably go, we look like on the internet, maybe 1,000. So probably 1,000 were made. How many survived? Who knows? You're going into the war just 2 years, and you're into 2 or 3 years, you're into World War II. Stop production, probably, and also the war was pretty destructive. So, and the German populace couldn't keep firearms right after the war. So how many of these were destroyed? You certainly wouldn't want to have this in your, you know, if you were German and not supposed to have firearms. This looks like a firearm, so you certainly would be cautious about keeping one. So hard to know. I know I've collected for about 4 years now and have not seen that many. And also it becomes a matter of condition with old pistols like this. If you look, it's 177 up here. All these were 177. The symbols right here, or the engraving, is Venus Waffenwerk, which is the name of his company, and Zella Meflis, which is the town where the company was located in. So many famous gun makers were in that town. Probably the most famous be Walther. That was the original Walther factory. On top here we have their corporate symbol with that was on the box. Guy holding a spring or an air gun or air rifle, and TEL Model 3. Here is a little place to put go down and get a screw, which adjusts the trigger. A lot of quality. You don't see that in a lot of these air pistols of this era. You can manipulate the sight up and down, and for windage as well. The emblems here on both sides were brass with the red background, made for a striking looking pistol. The one Achilles heel probably would be the grips. They were Bakelite. That's just a fancy, well, that's just a name for a plastic of the day, which you do see these with broken grips. In fact, I bought one, my first one had broken grips and I had to repair it. This one obviously is not, which is very cool, but that probably is the only thing that would detract from what is just a awesome pistol of that era. And what kind of sets this apart is the mechanism inside, and I'm probably going to intersperse maybe some pictures of the patent drawings, because you really can't, when I do this and I cock it, you won't be able to see really what's going on. And that's probably some of the coolness of this pistol is the mechanical, what's going on there mechanically. It's not as simple as it would look from the outside to get this nice compact design. When you cock it, you pull this down and you can see this arm, and that arm was part of the patent as well. It's going to bring up that spring. And yeah, let me cock it real quick. Once that's cocked, what it's doing is bringing forward, there's a spring here, a spring guide into the spring guide here, holding the spring, and then a sear. That's all drawn forward to meet the piston and the leather seal on the top, or the top of the piston, and it locks together while it's up there. Let me just put in a pellet real quick. And these are such tight barrels it helps to seat it, I think. Now when you take this back, what happens is all that mechanism that was engaged here comes back, bringing the piston and the leather seal with it. So you have all that now back here ready to be fired, and then just the piston goes forward to fire the pellet. And we're going to go ahead and do that. I got a box here. We hope it's going to hold. Yeah, well, sure it did. So, oh well. And they're not really a powerful pistol. It's about 280 feet per second. The handle was in that same caliber is about 320. So you know, that's not really that powerful nowadays. But what they were trying to do basically was just get a nice, beautiful milled pistol that it would feel like a firearm, and you could do 10 meter at the most practice with, and that's what they did. Speed, they didn't have chronographs back then. I don't think speed and power were all that big a deal. So anyway, that is the Model 3. After the war, the company did continue. There is at least a picture of a mock-up or a line or a drawing of this pistol without the emblems that was going to be produced in East Germany, because East Germany was took over that town, or after the war it was part of East Germany. But no one has seen a pistol like that, so who knows if it ever was produced or if it was produced in any quantity whatsoever. So this is the one you certainly will find. And again, tough find, certainly worth it. Kind of, again, probably the holy grail of spring-powered air pistols. And that's the Model 3 TEL. Thanks for listening.